Hello, and welcome to the third workshop, Instructional Strategies for Active Student Learning. This short presentation will help you identify a wide range of instructional strategies available for active learning, discern appropriate instructional strategies to match intended learning outcomes, and design a variety of teaching and learning activities in alignment with the target learning outcomes. But let us recap the two previous lessons. The alignment principle is a key element of course design. It states that all the various elements of a course need to be brought in alignment with the course intended learning outcomes, as well as each other. These two principles, setting the learning outcomes as the course objective and aligning all the major components together, will form a well-aligned course. Today's workshop will focus on the teaching and learning instructional strategies. Defining instructional strategies. The term instructional strategy relates to the selection of the teaching and learning methods used, the selection of the materials, including technology, used in the teaching process, and the selection of the processes or manner, that is, the activities by which the material is delivered. How does one design a teaching and learning activity? Well, it is important that the instructor select the teaching and learning activities that support student achievement and the learning outcomes described in the syllabus, aligning these activities with the course intended learning outcomes. Therefore, to start, you need learning outcomes that are clear, specific, and most importantly, measurable and accessible. Some considerations when selecting your instructional strategies. It's best to start small, to be able to develop in your comfort level when introducing a new learning strategy. Adapt them so that they address the learning goals in your class. And consider the context in which you're teaching. What are the student characteristics? What is the program of study or the course contents? And what are the physical environments and resources? A much larger class will have different strategies than a small class. Consider your strengths, limits, and comfort zone, and always make certain that the activities align with the learning outcomes. There are some very general instructional methods that are spoken of in the literature. On the slide in front of you, you see a list of the more commonly used ones and the abbreviations. So task-based learning is often referred to as TBL, or project learning as PL, or problem-based learning as PBL. These represent very general strategies for student learning. The diagram you see in front of you now has more specific instructional methods. The 4 circles represent different orientations, from instructor-centered with the traditional lecture to more interactive and individualized. One of the most important or commonly used strategies is, in larger class, is the pair-share learning. Think, pair, share. This works well in a large class since it allows the students to focus on a topic of discussion for a few moments with their partner. This breaks up the lecture, but is entirely manageable in the largest of classes. In smaller classes, actually developing case studies or concept mapping or 1-minute feedback may be more appropriate. The Center for Teaching and Learning would like to emphasize active learning strategies. Active learning strategies reinforces the important material, concept, and skills, and it provides more frequent feedback to the students. It provides students with time to think, talk about, and process the course material. It increases motivation through personal connection with the material and allows students to practice skills like collaboration through pair and group work. It has been demonstrated to be more effective than passive learning strategies. Instructional strategies vary and may have different effects when used differently. The diagram you see before you is fairly well known and has a number of different learning strategies. As you can see, those with low retention are rather passive and result in students not feeling connected to the material and detached from the learning process. The lower three, group discussion, activities that practice while doing and teaching others, are what we would call active learning and promote greater retention of the material. They also promote greater student engagement. It is important to note, however, that recent literature has cast some doubt on this triangle. However, the point of active learning versus passive learning remains true. When changing your course, you should make certain that you understand, that the students understand and acknowledge how your changing the course is going to make the classroom experience different, and inform the students as the reasons for this shift. Students appreciate being informed as to why certain pedagogical strategies are being employed. It might be useful to use reflective learning logs at several points during the term, and you should always solicit and share feedback. This can be done anonymously and can increase student engagement in the learning process. Reinforce at the beginning and always that the course is about their learning and that the active strategies for student learning are formulated not for your benefit, but for theirs. And make certain you reflect on the experience of your own learning and share that with the students. The alignment principle should underwrite all the design of teaching and learning activities. The teaching content must be chunked appropriately and matched with the appropriate instructional strategies. And all of these, of course, must relate to the course-intended learning outcomes. When you have a clear and definite alignment between the course-intended learning outcomes, the instructional strategies, and the teaching content, you have a well-aligned course. The slide you see in front of you now, the course design organizer, is useful when planning out a course. It forces the instructor to recognize the alignment between the outcomes, the content, the instructional activities, and the assessments. And for each student outcome, there must correspond content, instructional activities, and assessments. Assignment. Refine your learning outcomes of the course that you're going to teach next term, although you may have already done this in a previous workshop. But now design several teaching and learning activities that are in alignment with these learning outcomes and explain how the activity aligns with the learning outcomes. Thank you for your time, and join us again next time when we speak of assessment.